Welcome to the channel, everybody. Level M Diecast. We are covering some more Majorette action. This is the stuff that we picked up from our trade from Australia. My buddy Jackson hooked me up with all these Majorettes. We've already covered the overall hull. We're going to cover these racing cars. So they have a couple different series that Majorette does. You have your premium, your racing cars, and then you have like a city line, and then you have like your standard kind of generic street cars is kind of what they call them, the lowest range brand. But this one's pretty nice. So these ones come with the card in the top of them, just like always. $7.99 Australian dollars, about $3.50, $4 US, which is a good price point for what you get. So first one, we're going to take a look at this Toyota GT86. Now, if you are in the US, it might look a little familiar from you, and I'll show you guys the card here real quick that it comes with, just for completion purposes, and it's a pain in the butt to get these packages open, but comes with a little thing that tells you information about the card and all that kind of stuff like that. So kind of a cool little token for collectors. But this one might look familiar to us here in the US, even though we don't actually technically get much of any Majorette, because we did get this one as part of the deluxe line. It did come with gray 5-spoke Real Riders tires. This is the standard version one. As you can see, they just pull these directly from different lines and throw them into the US. So this is where this model came from. It came from the racing cars line. The premium one looks pretty good. This one does have opening doors, pretty average fanfare, a little bit of detail on the back side of the door panels. Looks okay. Suspension, as always. I do like this wheel design. I just don't think it's right for this particular deco for this car, but just my opinion. Then a little bit of print there on the bottom for the diffuser. Looks pretty fancy, so throw that guy in there. There we go. All right, next one up, Hilux Revo, the Toyota Hilux Revo. Racing cars again. This one does sport that really nice 5-spoke wheel that they've used on a lot of Porsches, which is pretty nice. I think that wheel looks pretty good. The wheel looks pretty good for this model. I think they pull it off okay. It says 4x4 on the side, black and red graphics on the side. Lensed headlights, as always. Grille done up, looks fantastic. Of course, suspension. This guy does have a tow hook in there. I like the fact that Majorette kind of puts a little bit of the interior on top to make sure that it holds the trailer on there so that it doesn't fall off. And just a little bit of print there on the back. It says Hilux Revo and Toyota. Looks pretty good. This guy is 1/58 scale. So forgot to check this one out. That one is, get that the right way, 1/58 scale as well. So supposedly these two are scaled to each other. No, that GT86 is way too big. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. All right, next one up, another kind of race style truck, the Isuzu Dmax Spark. Do have quite a few of these in the collection, so pretty happy about that. Don't think I have all of them, but I think I have quite a bit of them. Of course, they've all come from Jackson, from my trades from Australia. The only place I can get Majorette from, in bulk anyways. You always buy online, but it's just ridiculously expensive. Red and blue decals on the side. Looks pretty good. It says Dmax. I like this wheel on there. Wheel looks pretty good. It's kind of a lowered stance, kind of a sport truck look to it. Looks pretty good. Isuzu on the front. Lens headlights, as always. This one is right-hand drive. There is suspension in there. Not a whole lot of travel, but there is suspension. Of course, he does have a tow hitch on the back, kind of integrated in there. Not really a bumper on the back, which is kind of interesting. And then just a little bit of prints there on the back. So it does say Isuzu Dmax. 1/61 scale for this guy. You can see those metal bars in there for the suspension. That's where the suspension comes from. It's similar to what everybody used to do back in the day, but people don't do any of that now because too expensive. All right, next one up, another truck. This one's SUV, Ford Bronco Wildtrak. This casting did debut in Tune-Ups Series 2. It was the Hunt car, the rarest one. Now it is just regular version in racing cars. Majorette doesn't do too many U.S. cars. For obvious reasons, they're not a presence in the U.S. unfortunately. Hopefully, maybe someday, but we've been saying that for about 10 years now, so that's okay. This one looks pretty good. It does not have a removable top, so it looks like it is. Oh, it is removable. Well, I will eat my words. Check that out. That is pretty cool. Top does come off. It's got a separate piece in there, so there's actually still glass in there, which is super cool. So I like that. It also does have opening doors as well. So that looks pretty good. Big, gigantic open doors. A little bit of print on the, or a little bit of detail on the inside of the panel, but really nothing doing there. This is kind of a matte white finish, which looks pretty good. Still has lensed headlights. I do like that look. It says Bronco on there. Very good details. Details on the back. Prints and all that good stuff like that. Still has your Bronco symbol. Does have a tow hitch, more of a conventional tow hitch. Super low down in there. Looks pretty good. This is a newer wheel, or even maybe a brand new wheel. This wheel may have debuted with the original version of this casting. This one is 1/62nd scale, but really nice that that roll bar is all part of the body, so it's all metal, which is super cool. So we'll slide him in the front, and then just maybe slide in the back first. There we go. Slide it in the back first and then pop in the front. I don't know if this guy's going to fit. Ooh, look at that. Fits like a glove. All right, the Marlboro Senna. That's not Marlboro because, of course, can't do Marlboro because these are kids' toys. But that looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. It's a little bit darker, a little bit more red than orange than it looks on the camera, I think. It's definitely more red. It's definitely red, but it's not like super deep red. But 100% those McLaren, or those McLaren Marlboro colors, which is pretty cool. I like that a lot, actually. I think that's pretty sweet. Does say McLaren right there on the driver door, as well as the passenger side door. The doors do open up. They're painted a separate color. Looks good. Very hard to see any details in there, but there are some details on the side of the panel in there. So pretty good casting. I think Majorette did pretty good. This is a pretty difficult casting, especially to make a moving part on. Hot Wheels has done this casting too, but you know Hot Wheels just does basic stuff. Nothing super fancy. The wing is plastic, but that looks pretty good. Still has suspension in there. Still has lensed headlights. You can barely see them, but they are in there. 1/56 scale. This one has the same wheels as that original GT, or the 86 that we looked at. Just in solid black. I think that actually looks pretty good for that guy. So we'll throw him up there. Toyota Supra. GR Supra SZR. This one also should look familiar. We got this one in the deluxe line as well, with some rubber tires as well. So this is the original debut version of this deco, I guess you can call it. Comes with the 3-spoke, which I think is a pretty cool wheel. It's big. I don't think the 3-spoke looks good as a bigger wheel. That should definitely be a much smaller wheel, but just my opinion. Got a bunch of little Bilsteins on the side. Looks pretty good. I like the charcoal gray color. Some more Bilsteins on the side here. Looks pretty good. I like the details. Lens headlights as always. Suspension as always, just like Majorette does. Now their street car line typically doesn't have any opening parts, and a lot of them don't have suspension, but they're not limited to that. And then a little bit of detail on the inside of the door panel. Nothing fancy. But again, opening doors looks pretty good. There are the details on the back. Just say the GR on there looks pretty good. Sort of symbol as well. And then just your basic deets. For 1/56th scale. I do like that one. It's a pretty good casting for the Supra. It's a little beefy, a little bit too big for my taste, but I think the casting's overall pretty good. All right, racing cars, the Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport. This one will also look familiar because we got this one in deluxe range as well with rubber tires, except for the rubber tires for this one were very close to these. They were multi-spoke with the gold ring on it, which was really interesting. So really liked the fact that they tried to keep it as close to the released version as possible, the standard release version. Does have 16 on the front, Bugatti in the grille, lensed headlights. Looks good. Suspension, of course. Not a whole lot of travel there, but it's there. The wing is plastic. Looks pretty good. Print on the back. There's your EB logo with some little bit of print for the taillights. Looks pretty good. Like the orange striping on the top. Orange interior. Little tiny opening doors. Little tiny opening doors. So, tiniest opening doors you've ever seen. Super, super tiny. And then the premium version has an opening hood. This one does not have an opening hood, but the premium version also has this section open. Technically, that's not the hood, but that part opens on the premium version. So, unfortunately, not on this one. And then there is your base Dietz 1/65th scale. So, a little bit smaller than 1/64 scale, which is kind of interesting. Most of them have been a little bit too big for 1/64 scale. That one is a little bit too small for early 1/64 scale. All right, the last racing car one I have, this is the Hyundai i30N. I do have 4 decos for this guy, and now I have this one. There's also a play set that they released for the Hyundai like training center or whatever. It's kind of like the Porsche Experience Center a little bit, but just a couple of different accessories, and of course it's all done up with Hyundai. But this one looks pretty good. This one's kind of like a pace car style. I do like the details on it. See the wheels. These wheels look fantastic on this one. Those multi-spokes, they look so good on this one. Just absolutely perfect. There is suspension, but unfortunately there's just no wheel travel. Lensed headlights look pretty good. There is your in logo. And your Hyundai logo looks good. Just some ins on the side, a little bit of black print on the top. Always gets scratched up. They always do. They just do. And then there is your details on the back, some taillight prints and stuff like that. And then there's your in logo, or your i30 in logo, I should say. Looks pretty good. This particular guy here, throw him around there. He is, well, supposedly this guy is 1/64 scale on the nose. So if you're looking for 1/64 scale diorama kind of stuff, that guy might fit your bill. And they also make some less involved decos. Maybe only one less involved deco. All right, we're going to move over to these ones here. We do have a couple of these. Well, this first one's just going to be the trailer pack, the 2-pack. This would be considered the 200 series. I'm sorry, the 300 series these days. So this would be like your 300 series. Those are like the 200 series. That's kind of where you'd be at. You know, if you're talking old school Majorette. $13 for this, so about $8 US, which I don't think is a bad price. You know, you get a dump truck and a matching trailer, which is kind of cool. This is the Mack Granite. Really, really stoked he got me this one. I didn't even ask for this, I don't think, but regardless, Jackson be learning what I like for sure. Work safety zone, it says there. It says slow down, stay alert. Looks pretty good. This does have a part that folds down in the back, which is very nice. It's a pretty cool trailer. It's pretty straightforward. There is some metal to it. The tongue is metal and stuff like that. And then the same deets on the other side. I think their kind of utility wheel is super good. Probably one of the best in the biz. There is the Mack Granite. They did an absolutely fantastic job with this casting. It looks so good. You got your chrome visor at the top, chrome front bumper, chrome stacks, chrome tanks on there. It's exactly the way it should be. And most of that is one piece. So they make it work. Got your Mack Bulldog on the side. This is a metal dump section in the back, which is super cool. And of course it does dump. It does exactly what you'd expect it to do. I think the Mack casting itself looks very, very, very good. They did a fantastic job. The prints look fantastic. Got your big old Mack on there. Looks good. Again, this is a metal dump, so this is actually relatively heavy. It's got some heft to it. Take a look at the base deets. I don't know if these ones have the scale on it. Look at that. 187 scale. Very cool. Very cool to see 187 scale. You guys can buy these up for your train layouts. So it just sits right on there with the tow hitch. It does sit perfectly level and it tows the guy around. Looks pretty good. So I think what we'll do is we'll move this guy up here. We'll move the Bronco to the top. And then we'll just park this guy right cha. All right, moving on to arguably my favorite thing to collect in the entire planet Earth. And I'm not even joking. 600 series Majorette trucks. Absolute pride and joy of my collection. The Transporter series is the continuation of those. This particular plane dates all the way back to the original 600 series, to the late 80s. when that was a new part of a casting. That is a brand new trailer. Came out a few years ago from Majorette. It's all plastic, unfortunately, but it is pretty good. So we'll go ahead and crack open this first one. Get that guy popped out. There we go. So this is the plane. It is all plastic, but it does have a propeller on the front, and the propeller does rotate, does what it's supposed to. There are 2 wings underneath, so you'll slide the wings out the front. It's super, super tight. Maybe you'll slide them out the back. I don't remember. But the wings plug into the side. You see there's a little notch in the wing. You put one in one side. It just kind of pops in there. Put one in the other side. Let's see. Oh, put it upside down. No wonder it didn't pop. There we go. There we go. Oof. Man, I tell you what, this casting, even though it's been a million years old, this casting really, really, really tight. So there is the print on the top. It says number 48, says Aero Ace on it. There is your pontoon plane. Again, it's all plastic, but I think it looks fantastic. Super cool play value and all that kind of stuff like that. A little bit of print on the side of the tail rudder, print on the plane itself. So definitely not skimming. We really didn't get much of... we really didn't get much print on the plane back in the day, so that's kind of interesting that we get print on there now. So we'll slide the trailer out from the truck. This is just a plastic trailer. This is a, I think this is a licensed trailer though. Yeah, it's a Fliegel low loader. It does have the standing gear here too. Sorry about that. So there's the standing gear for it. Then it does have a ramp off the back, which looks perfect. Triple axle with a little bit of metal at the bottom just to give it a little bit of weight. But for the most part, it is completely plastic, but I think it looks good. This is our MAN TGS. It's a pretty good casting. So they basically just supersized the one that they had in the smaller series, in the trailer series, to do the bigger transport series, which I think is perfectly fine. As far as the deets go, I don't think it has a scale on there. It does 187, so they do say they're 187 scale. The old school 600 series were always HO scale, so they're still holding true to that. It does have matching decals on here. Interesting that it's a left-hand drive for the truck. Looks pretty good though. Everything you see that's red is metal though, so it's pretty heavy. It's a pretty heavy guy. So we'll get this hooked back up. Just pops into there. We'll get our plane taken back apart. Stack the 2 wings. I'm going to put them upside down. There we go. That's exactly how they're supposed to go. Now, the weird thing about this particular one is that there's nothing to hold the plane on, which never happened back in the day. There would have been a little bit of a clip or something like that, and it would have held the plane on there. The plane did clip in. That's what the bottom pieces were here for. Sorry about that. The bottom pieces were there. This has been modified a little bit from the original version, but there used to be a little clip area. You would just set it down on the trailer and you would just be able to snap it in. It's not going to slide off left to right because there's a little lip on the trailer, but there's nothing to hold it on there in particular. But I think it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. I don't think that trailer's necessarily the most important part of it, but it works. It works okay. All right, another casting version. The whole trailer section here dates all the way back to the mid-80s, late 80s, I'm sorry, for the 600 series. This boat they've been using forever and ever. This is the Actros cab, though, which is pretty cool. Obviously, this guy is kind of decoed up, acting like he's golf racing, which is fine. You know, you'll get some golf racing guys that'll be pretty interested about that. Now, they do assemble these for the packaging, and typically what happens is these fifth wheel covers are always chipped up. Fortunately, mine seems to be pretty good. Back in the day, they didn't paint this area of the trucks specifically for that reason. You might get a chassis variation here and there that was painted, but for the most part, none of the chassis were painted, which was a pretty good idea. So here is our Actros. It says number 7 on the side, Racing Team, super premium prints. I mean, you guys can admit to that. There's super premium prints on there. It looks absolutely fantastic. Really good, high quality stuff. I think these things were 17 bucks Australian. That's like $11 or $12 US, which I think is more than worth it. This one is also 187 scale, so that's pretty good. This is the boat section. Again, this trailer dates back from way back in the day. You can see that is still the old school Majorette logo. They're still using the same molding to make that. They're still using the same ECH for the scale. That's nuts. You can see a little bit of that orange paint came off. That's crazy. That's crazy. They didn't even update the casting. It's still the original casting. That's nuts. All right, the boat does come out. The boat is not fixed. You know, it's Majorette. That's not the way that they do it. Let's see here. It's only got these two little notches in the back that hold it on. Ugh, there we go. It's just a super tight fit. So I always get worried to make sure not to break the plastic. Ooh, man. There it goes. Ooh. All right, so there's just the black holder in there. See that little snap down in there? So this does come off. So you just pop that off. That is the exact same connector they used to hold the plane on back in the day. The plane, unfortunately, is not going to fit on there anymore because they did thicken that up. But that is exactly the same attachment that they had for everything. Everything matched that way back in the day. So you could put all kinds of different stuff on the trailers. But there you go. With a little bit of diamond print on there. Looks pretty good. Pop this guy back on there. There we go. Tink. And then this is the plane. The boat. This is the same casting that they've been using forever. It's just crazy that they're still using this thing. Print on the side looks pretty good. Double seater on the top. Just one of those super crazy, ultra fast, hyper boats. You'd be racing on water. They have like, twin supercharged, V12 engines or some crappy something in them. Looks pretty good though. I like it. The premium looks, or the print looks premium, which I really, really like. And really helps the quality of it really, really pop out. That whole boat's only 3 pieces, but I think it looks good. I think it looks pretty good. So getting the boat in there is super simple. Getting the boat out, not so simple. There you go. You just literally just pop it in there like that. I guess it's supposed to go the other way, I guess. I just popped it on there thinking it went that way, but the boat's supposed to go the other way, and then this is supposed to face the other way. So for now, it doesn't quite fit. It runs into the truck, but that's okay. We're just going to leave it like that because I think it looks okay. So there you go. That is the next haul for Majorette. I got one more thing coming up. Got that Youngsters 5-pack, and then we'll be all good for Majorette for now. Unfortunately, always looking for more to bring to the channel. It's not exactly the easiest stuff to find, but let me know what you guys think about all these, especially the race cars and stuff like that. Again, I'm not lying. Absolute favorite thing in the world to collect is the Majorette 600 series / transporters. I have a very, very large selection. I still need to redo my walkthrough video with that, like actually do a really nice one. So that's a pretty good idea. But anyways, we're going to roll out. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Love and Peace.